What up, though? Good evening and welcome to another episode of Notoriously Opinionated. It's your man. Let me see something real quick. You know what? I'm feeling kind of scrappy tonight. So that's what I'm rocking with. So those of you that don't know me can refer to me as Scrap, right? Libra. I got like a whole bunch of people going on in here right now. You know what I'm saying? And I got to try to wrangle all of them. I got to try to get control of all these people, you know, all these different personalities, right? So, I'd like to welcome everybody to the takeover of Notoriously Opinionated by, I'm going to choose to call Relationship Reality Check, right? So that's what I'm rocking with right now. You know, I kind of like it. You know, I kind of like Relationship Reality Check. Even though there's gonna be times that I'm not necessarily, I don't know. It's gonna be times I'm gonna be talking not necessarily about well, no, in one way or another, I'm talking about relationships. Whether I'm talking about a relationship between two people, a relationship with yourself, it might be there's a lot of layers that go into relationship. You know, relationship reality check. You can have a relationship with yourself. You can have a relationship. You have a relationship with your friends. You have a relationship with your family. You have a relationship with your significant other. Get your heads out together. You know, it's more than one type of or kind of relationship. So like, but speaking of the relationship that you have with yourself, right? That is the laying of the precursor, that nation that you have to have, that you have to try to not try. That is the part of the relationship that lays the foundation for your relationship with any other person. You have to have that intense relationship with yourself, right? If you don't have a good relationship with yourself, right, how can you ever expect to have a good relationship with anybody else? I think Scarface to me said it best. I don't love me. How the fuck I'ma love you? Now, I caught that when he said it. You know, that it made perfect sense to me. Like, how can I, as an individual, love someone else or claim to love someone else when I don't even love myself? Trip on that and make it make sense. If you believe that, I mean, hey, that's my notorious opinion. Tap in if you believe that you can love someone else yet don't love you. How is it? Just explain it to me, because I am a lifelong learner. Like, I'm gonna be learning shit till the day I die. Explain to me though how it is that you can formulate your heart and your emotions and your feelings towards someone else that you haven't even collaborated with yourself with. Just make it make sense. That's all I'll be asking. You know what I'm saying? Like, That's all I ask. If there's something that confuses me, and there's somebody else that has knowledge that I do not have, hey, it's happened to me my whole life. I've had concepts and theories and feelings that have been debunked, because I will listen. I'm not one of those people that is just going to hold on so tightly to my belief, hold on so tightly to my theory because it's my theory and I don't want to let it go. I don't want to let go of what I believe. Hey, I believe what I believe today, as solid as a boulder, right? And then when new information that I cannot refute, that's the important part. When new information that I cannot refute comes upon me, then I will believe that just as solid as the first boulder, even if it contradicts everything that I believed before. Okay. So relationship reality check, like I said, is multi-layered. It's the relationship that you have with it begins with the relationship that you have with yourself. It can then span to the relationship that you have with your family. Then it can go into the relationships that you have with what people call friends or associates or acquaintances or whatever your relationship is with people are not sanguine related to you, right? Sanguine meaning blood. Like if they do not have a blood relation to you, then those are the people that I'm referring to. Those are the people that I'm referring to. Okay. So the question, homie, is can someone else? So I think Lil Wayne said it, no, he might have said it too. But there was a song. Who sang that Teach Me How to Love? Was that Music Soul Child? I think that was Music Soul Child. That, Teach me how to love. I don't remember who sang that song. I believe it's Music Soul Child. But if you know who sang Teach Me How to Love, you know what? This is what modern technology is for. And this is why I have modern technology at my fingertips. Who sings Teach Me How to Love?
Teach Me How to Love was recorded by Shawn Mendes.
Yeah, no, that ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Music Soul Child. Teach Me. All right. Music Soul Child had a song called Teach Me. Teach Me How to Love. Show me the way to surrender my heart. Girl, I'm so lost. Teach me how to love. So a lot of people need to be taught how to love because they may have had an unhealthy, insecure attachment at birth, right? That goes into a psychological theory, and it's called the attachment theory. Actually, so if disclaimer, so I have an extensive psychological background. But I'm autodidactic. I don't have a doctorate. I don't have a master's. I am a self-taught psychologist, which means that I probably know just as much, if not more, than the ones that went to college for 4, 5, 8 years. You know what I'm saying? So, like I literally taught my psychology class in 101, right? It was one of those situations to where here's the story. So I'm in my Psych 101 class, and the teacher is reading out of the psychology book, and I'm like, I don't want to hear the teacher try to. This isn't teaching, this is reading. You know what I'm saying? We learn that decade ago. You know, we, like way back. So I can read it myself. I'm here so you can teach me. You know, uh, something. Even though I wasn't in the class to be taught, I was in the class for the credits. Neither here nor there. Um, but when the teacher is reading the book, the Psych 101 book, and comes across a word, she's like, and hypo, hippocampus. What is that? My hand immediately goes up. Immediately. It's the hippocampus. Uh, it means XYZ. And may I ask where you got your degree in psychology? If you don't know how to pronounce hippocampus, where did you study? Well, my degree is in English. What? Did you confuse English 101 with Psych 101? Why are you here in Psych 101? That away. Go that away. You know what I mean? So, same. I mean, the same principles apply with teaching apparently as does with getting the class. Like you had to pass English 101 in order to take Psych 101, and apparently all you have to have is an English degree to teach 101 in Psych. I was pissed. So I got to questioning her everything, and she was like, she did some second grade stuff to me, like I actually needed 101, like I was actually, you know what I'm saying, like, so she hit me with some second grade stuff. Well, mister, since you know so much about psychology, why don't you come up and teach the class? You fucking with the right one. You 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 just fucked with the right one. Bet. Challenge accepted. I grabbed all my stuff, went up to the front, grabbed the chalk, grabbed the eraser, erased all that bullcrap she already had on the board, and was like, all right, check this out. So here we gonna get started. XYZ, an hour later, I had talked the whole class. She was mad as hell. So that just was what it was. I say that to say this: the opinions and insight that I give may come from a psychological background, but I am not a certified therapist, and so take what I say as my notorious opinion. Take what I say as insight. Do not take what I say as psychological advice, because I can't give that to you. If you need psychological advice, I suggest you go see a real therapist. That I am not. I just play one on TV. All right. So that being said, relationship reality check is going to be one of the shows within the show. It's going to be one of the shows within Notoriously Opinionated, where I talk about relationships. So like I said, the attachment theory is a psychological theory that is multi-layered. I'm trying to think of the dude's name that created the attachment theory. It's like Ainsworth or Einsberg or something like that. I'm gonna figure it out. But there is what's called attachment theory, and basically it boils down to this. Within attachment theory, it goes back to your initial attachment to your mother and or parents, and whether you had a healthy or unhealthy attachment to and with them. If you had what's called a healthy, secure relationship with your mother and or parents within the first 18 months of birth, then the odds are that you were going to do well in school, that you were going to develop and sustain and maintain healthy relationships as you grow up to be an adult. However, if you had insecure, unhealthy relationships, it breaks down deeper than that. This is just the broad based, if you had unhealthy and insecure relationships within those first 18 months, if you had, what was it called? Okay, it's come back to me. So one of them was avoidant. Another one was avoidant. So in an avoidant disorder, not disorder, but in an avoidant attachment, you would avoid the parent. Like, it was a bunch of them that was like negative attachments. You know what I'm saying? And the healthy was like one of the only ones that was like, okay, well, if you had a healthy insecure attachment to your caregivers, then you'd be cool. And then it's like, that's why it's so many unhealthy relationships, mainly because your very first relationship when you came to this planet was not healthy. So you had to go and reverse engineer yourself to end up having healthy relationships, and like the homie said, learn how to love, because you detached. Oh, that was another one, detachment. You had to detach yourself from your primary caregivers at birth, or you avoided your primary caregivers at birth, or you had a very healthy attachment. Now, here was the problem with having a healthy attachment to your primary caregivers. When they left, oh boy, because I just need you. I just need you here with me. I just need to be with you all the time. Then, you develop, anxiety when they leave. All babies don't cry when their parents leave. Some of them be like, all right then, peace. I get to get some sleep. You know what I'm saying? Without you always on, quit kissing on me. Gone. They are avoiding the parents, and that's what some babies do. If they don't say, now the babies that do that, a lot of times they say do it because they don't feel safe. There have been some sort of behind them being avoidant or detached. So the very first relationship you're gonna have is with your primary caregivers, and that can breed whatever it needs later on in life. Now, a lot of times, relationship reality check, although it comes from a psychological background, it's a lot of just things that I've learned, my opinions, my experiences, but I try to lean more towards the middle. You know what I'm saying? I don't take many of my experiences, because then feelings got to get involved, and I don't want to I don't want my personal feelings to cloud what it is that I'm trying to say, or what it is I'm trying to convey. So relationship reality check is going to be the show within the show of Notoriously Opinionated. So a lot of times I want to come with a factoid or a quote having dealt with relationships. But I heard, or rather read, I'm sorry, a really disturbing survey today. It was crazy for me to read. So it said, did you know that 25% of women in the United States are treated for mental health issues? 25% of women in the United States are treated for mental health issues. That is disturbing. That is disturbing. 25% of women in the United States are being treated for mental health issues. That is 75% of y'all walking around untreated. That is crazy. That is crazy. It's only 25% of y'all that's being treated. So that means that the 75% of y'all just walking around all willy-nilly with no treatment? I get it now. I get it. It's a joke. Kinda. Sorry. It was meant to make you laugh. You're welcome. Kidding, not kidding. All right. So here's the thing. So when I do like solo shows, I thought about calling it like a psychology class. You know what I'm saying? I was tempted to call the show Introduction to Understanding Women, or as I would like to affectionately call it, Headache 101. Cause y'all give us headaches. Like, seriously. Because the understanding of a man, and again, this is relationships. This is the relationship that a man has with himself. We could talk about the relationships that women have with themselves and each other. I mean, but it's just different. You know what I'm saying? Like, the between a man with himself is different than a relationship that a woman would have with herself. Other than this, the building of a real man, a mature man, the building of a real woman, a mature woman. Not all dudes that's my size that have aged facial features are mature men. You may actually be dealing with a boy in a big body. Not all females that know how to act like women are mature women. You might be dealing with a little girl in a big body, because, and this is true no matter who you're talking about, whether you're talking about males, females, men, women, it doesn't matter. If you were not taught, if you were never taught how to add, you would go around your whole life not knowing how to add. You had to be taught how to add. You had to be taught how to read. Even if, you could teach yourself how to add, you might be able to teach yourself how to read, but it's going to take you a hell of a lot longer. You have to fake it a lot, right? That's what males and females do. See, males and females have not yet reached manhood or womanhood. You're just a male or a female, and that man and that woman has reached mature male, mature female status. You're just a man, you're just a woman, and you're still growing and you're still learning. And don't put a blockade in the middle. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let that blockade have come early in life. Don't let that blockade have come in the form of you really didn't have loving parents. You really didn't have a very healthy attachment to your parents, and thus grew up like that, having to learn how to love, having to learn how to be in a relationship and love yourself. And then after you finally figure out how to love yourself, figure out how to love an entirely different being that may be completely different than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you didn't learn how to be a man or how to be a woman, if you didn't have healthy attachments, and now you call yourself wanting to be in a relationship with somebody, even being a friend to somebody, it's a lot of people that suck as friends because they don't know how. They don't know how to be friends. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you can blame the person to an extent, to a degree, to being a sucky friend, but you know, it's their fault to a degree. It's their fault to a degree why, you are not a mature man or woman, but it takes time. You know what I'm saying? Life has a lot of surfaces, and you gotta have the footwear to be able to walk, slide, skate, and run on it all. That's what life is. It's a journey, not a destination. Life is that. Love is that. Relationships are that. They're journeys. They're not destinations. But you got to get you right first. I believe if you go into a relationship and you fucked up, and you don't love you, and that you got a lot of shit to work on, you might need to do that shit before you go into this relationship, right? Because if the feeling that you feel uh is love, it might not be. Because how can you identify it? How can you identify what you feel is love if you don't have it for yourself? I personally, kind of like Scarface said, I don't love me. How the fuck can I love you? You know? So I think that's true. If you don't love yourself, it's going to be extremely difficult and, in my opinion, impossible to love someone else if you do not love yourself. If you don't care about you, how can you say you care about me? Right? If I'm not a friend to myself, how can I be a friend to you? Like, I lie to me every day. How am I gonna lie to me every day and then convince you that I'm gonna tell you the truth? That don't make sense. Make it make sense, somebody. Somebody make it make sense. If you can't be honest with yourself, how are you going to convince your friends, your family, your significant other that you're being honest with them? Oh no, I'm not cheating on you, says the person that can't be honest with themselves. Oh, I love you so much, says the person that can't be honest with themselves. If you lie to yourself, lying to me ain't gonna be shit. lying to me is a piece of cake if you can't be honest with yourself. And at that time, you got to be honest with the fact that you're not being honest with yourself. That's a bad motherfucker. That is a cold piece, to have to be honest about the fact that you're being honest with you. Mm-mm-mm. That is a mind job right there, you know. Uh, and it takes a really self-aware person to be able to admit that they're not being honest with themselves. It takes a really self-aware person to say, hey, I have shadow work to do. You know what I'm saying? And then actually do it. It's okay to be lost. It is perfectly fine to not know how to get to where you're trying to get to. That's my definition of a problem, right? To me, my definition of a problem. A problem a problem occurs when you're trying to get from point A to point B, and you don't know how to get from one place to the other. That is a problem. You are trying to get from point A to point B, and you don't see a bridge, you don't see a car, you can't swim, so going across that body of water is a non-starter. You don't have any idea how to fly anything. You yourself do not have wings. Like all modes of transportation have been eliminated from you, but you still are trying to figure out how to get from point A to point B. That's a problem. When you figure out how to get from point A to point B, solution. You know what I'm saying? They say that the two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you figure out why. Therein lies the solution to your problem. Because now point A and point B can be by you. So one of the things that I want to talk about that I already kind of have, and I think there's a lot of things I got down for introduction to understanding women 101. And please keep in mind, disclaimer, I have not figured it out. So this is a work in progress. So, and I touched on this briefly, feelings and beliefs being the paradigm of reality, right? So people believe what they believe and they feel what they feel, but there's feelings, there's belief, and then there's facts, you know, and then there's the truth, right? The problem is people's feelings, people's beliefs, and people's personal facts are beginning to outweigh and push the truth aside. You know what I'm saying? And that just don't make sense to me, man. You know, so and it never will. You know, like the truth is the truth. You know, like people will talk about laws. I'll talk about laws. Let's do that. I will talk about laws. I'm not talking about these man-made laws though. I'm talking about this. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about this. What goes up must come down. Every single time. Like, if you believe that I could throw this in the air and it don't come back down, please tell me what cartoon you watching. You did? Because that only happens in cartoons. That's it. That's the only time you can throw something in the air and it just gets suspended in air. Like, you throw it up and it just stays there, it's a cartoon. That's not real life. That's a law. Gravity. Law of attraction is also a law that people misconstrue. So that's what I believe. I believe in laws. I believe in truth. But there's things that people hold on to so tightly and they just don't want to let it go because it's just, it clashes, you know, and they just want to hold firm to what they believe in, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, don't turn your belief, don't turn your facts into the state your fact as a fact, state your opinion as an opinion, you know, and let that be. You know, it's when people try to turn their personal feelings, their personal truth into a worldwide fact or a worldwide truth that I have a problem with it. That's my problem with a lot of things. To be put, well, I ain't gonna say a lot. Uh, that's my problem with a few things that I would call mass delusion, because here's the thing: if what you believe is the truth, then it's going to be true for everyone, not just you. So if there is someone who can throw their pen in the air, regardless of the continent you live on, if you can throw your pen in the air and the pen can get stuck, right? And your name is not David Blaine, David Copperfield, Chris Angel, unless your name is one of them dudes, right? Y'all are excluded. You know, all magicians are excluded from this. But if you can throw your pen in the air and that mug stop, and your name is not Wile E. Coyote, then it's not real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're functioning on your own fact. And that's, you know, everybody else's pen's gonna go up and come down. You know, that is the truth. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Beliefs and feelings being the paradigm of reality. You're not going to sustain a healthy relationship like that. You're not going to sustain a healthy relationship with yourself. You're not going to have healthy relationships with your friends, and you're definitely not going to have a healthy relationship with your significant other. That's just my notorious opinion. You can take or leave it. Quick factoid. Did you know, according to a recent study, that strong communication is the #1 predictor of relationship satisfaction? And a lack of good, healthy communication is one of the 5 reasons couples break up. Study show. That's actually a real study. Not now. I'm like, man, 25% of women, 25% of women is experiencing mental health issues, and 75% of y'all is walking around untreated. All right, so that 25%, that's real. You know what I'm saying? That's real. It's 25% of women is walking around untreated. So I'm gonna look up what the percentage of men is. Probably more than that. As far as the real study goes, it's probably, listen, I'm look up all men, but then I need to find black men and black women and see like what the percentage of black men and black women in the United States that are being treated for mental health issues are. It's probably not that, like, the study is not going to be accurate, you know, as far as, well, I mean, the study has to be accurate because they can only be accurate as to who they do the study on. But it's like all of the black people, all of the black men and women that really need therapy won't get it. It's like it's taboo in the black culture to go to a therapist and get help. Most of us won't even say that we need help. We just won't. But again, like I said, it's okay to be lost. It really is. It just means that this version of you that you are now experiencing, you've never experienced before. Like, you've never experienced this version of you before, which is why it's so confusing to you. You know, it's like being in school and you've never experienced calculus before. Yeah, you're gonna be lost. If you never experienced trig before, yeah, you're gonna be lost, you know. And it's okay, because when you get a better understanding of how to do trig, how to do calculus, how to do anything that you don't yet know how to do, then you're no longer lost. and so it's okay. You must get to a place of being lost before you can become found. So it's okay to be lost. Um, uh, you're not you're not gonna be irreparable. You know, you can be repaired. Um, ships don't. I heard this, and I added to it. It was a post I seen on Facebook that I really so that's why it popped up. Ships don't sink because of the mass body of water around it, right? Ships sink because somehow the water went from around it to in it. The same goes for drowning. You don't drown because you are surrounded by water. If that's the case, you would drown every time you take a bath. You don't drown by being surrounded by water. You drown when you take water in the wrong way. If you take too much water in, then you drown, you sink. That's why, you know. So you can't let everything that's going on around you get inside and affect you like that. That's when you drown. That's when you sink. Also, relationship reality check's not gonna be as long as I'm sorry. I ain't gonna call it the other women. I'm just playing. But my solo dolo shows, I'm a hit and miss. I'm gonna be talking about this. I'm still gonna be talking a lot about relationships, but probably not as much as I would if I had guests, which I was supposed to have tonight. And due to technical difficulties, I just couldn't get them on. And so I gotta go back and check all of the settings and all the things because this is the first time it hasn't worked. So I'm gonna go back, check all that, and hopefully I can get them on next week. But shout out to the homie Ray, man. I appreciate you. I'm gonna get you on the show, man. But precursor to this probably won't be. I probably won't talk about this on the show because I am gonna do I'm gonna do a video about this. I just got to get time to do the video. But and this is completely off the relationship topic. But like I have to do a video about what's the girl's name? Play for Iowa, Caitlin something. She's like the white female Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? Like this girl can shoot. She's a hooper. That's without a doubt. But they keep trying to compare her to Dawn Staley. The resumes don't match up. You know what I'm saying? Like she ain't got Dawn Staley's resume, And not only that, why is nobody not talking about Dawn Staley as a coach? Wait till I do this video, you're gonna see how impeccable that woman's record is. You know what I'm saying? I remember when she played. I remember when she was a player. Dawn Staley could ball whenever anybody got through, and she got the Player of the Year trophies to prove it. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna get into that. I just want to know why I know everybody's talking about Caitlin and how she was the number one pick overall for the WNBA, but not talking about Dawn Staley's. I think this is the second time her team has gone undefeated and won a national championship. Ain't nobody talking about that though. I am. I think I'm gonna wrap right there. see if there's anything else that I need to touch on or that I wanted to touch on. All right. So if you have any suggestions as to relationship reality check, if you got topics that you would like to hear discussed on relationship reality check, let me know. Uh Tap in. Even after the show go off, it'll still show all of the comments if you comment. So and I'll read them all. If you have any topics, any suggestions that you'd like to hear discussed on Notoriously Opinionated's takeover, the sub show of Relationship Reality Check, put it in the topics. Or put it in the comments. I'm sorry. Just share it, and I'll make sure that I talk about it. All right. Other than that, we're gonna call that a wrap. So in closing, just remember that, love is a verb. Act on it every day. And be the person that you want to see in a relationship. Be that person. Then you'll tap into the law of attraction, and you'll reap what you sow. Right? But until then, until next time, tune in to Notoriously Opinionated next Wednesday, 8 o'clock p.m. Same notorious time, same notorious station. It's your man, and I am out.